15 million people have had their first dose of a COVID vaccine. The over 65s and clinically vulnerable are the next to be invited. Hitting the vaccination target, a shot in the arm for the government.
The first million or so letters offering appointments to the over 65s are already landing on doorsteps. We've still got a long way to go, and there will undoubtedly be bumps in the road. But after all we've achieved, I know we can go forward with great confidence.
Progress has side effects, however. 63 Conservative MPs have called on the Prime Minister to commit to an end to lockdown in England by May, when the over 50s will have been offered jabs.
At that point, it's increasingly hard to justify, given the detrimental effects of the lockdown on our society and our economy, to continue with the lockdown measures.
We've seen with variants that COVID can spring nasty surprises on us. Are you getting ahead of yourselves? Are you getting ahead of the science?
None of the variants are resistant so far to the current vaccines that are on offer, and there are others in the pipeline. We're not budgeting for a windfall, but we can't also plan for calamity.
So what will be in Boris Johnson's so-called roadmap in a week's time? Here's the likely lockdown countdown for England. The government says it wants to start the process of reopening schools on the 8th of March. Government sources are quoted as saying this might be the day we can sit and have a coffee or a picnic with our household or one friend outdoors. It's reported people might be able to have a meal together on Easter Sunday, again outdoors. And we could be allowed back into non-essential shops and play some outdoor sports in April too. And until the rules change, ministers reminded us today, they want full compliance. The government says the idea is not to have people socialising. So if I was walking through this park with a friend because we were exercising, that's okay. But if we wanted to stop for a moment and sit on this bench for a socially distanced breather, not okay. Not for a few weeks yet, anyway. And even then, our new freedoms look like being slim indeed. Are people excited about a cuppa on a park bench?
That doesn't fill my heart with joy, no. That just seems a little bit, just too little, I suppose. But the lockdown's for a good reason. We support the lockdown. And let's just beat this virus.
The picnicking and stuff like that would be lovely, but I'm not sure it's a big deal, especially if the weather stays like this. But the school's going back, it's going to be immense.
I want to be with a few friends having a natter and going to a jazz session.
People aren't asking for much, but the government's refusing to be tied to anything yet, in case things unravel.
In the world of makeshift vaccine clinics, it's become something of a global showpiece. But then where else do you get artwork by Henry Moore, the best preserved copy of Magna Carta in existence, as you queue in the cloisters for vaccines beside the vestry?
And are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
So should we pop it in your left?
Yes.
For Pam and David Wood, as we soon learn, it is a poignant return to Salisbury Cathedral.
Are you religious people?
No.
Not particularly, but it can't help but fill up your... It's so beautiful and the music's so lovely. I mean, it gets to everybody, I think.
It's a bit of escapism in here, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, my mum was a guide here, and she actually died on the 18th of January. So for me to be back here is lovely. It's really good.
Would you like to go this way and find yourself a seat?
My husband used to work here.
I was just chatting to someone whose mother used to work here.
I've got a seat in his remembrance here somewhere.
So it's a special place for you.
Yes, he was a photographer. Yes, it is special.
Outside, it's transport by golf buggy, but the trips are dwindling as those being vaccinated get younger and more mobile. Most here are now in their early 70s.
Well, I got the bloke in there to take a photograph, actually, because, it's an historical event, isn't it? It's quite interesting.
A place adorned with moments of history now witnesses another. Bearing arms above and bearing arms below. 1,400 will get the jab here in one day alone.
How are you feeling about having the vaccine today?
Really excited. Really excited and delighted to be here. And it's just amazing, yeah. And this lovely lady.
Beside the vaccinators are volunteer guides too, like Anne Whiting.
I've actually enjoyed it. I've seen loads of people, loads of smiley eyes. People are so grateful and so pleased. So many people haven't been out for months, you know, maybe nearly a year.
In the cultural wasteland of COVID, a live music venue is also a rare treat these days, particularly for a musician like Chris Holmes.
New World Symphony.
This?
Yeah. Mostly known as the Hovis advert, isn't it?
I was thinking how beautiful it was in here. I've not been in here for so long, and they were wonderful through there. It was so efficient, and it made me feel very proud to be a nurse, actually, the way they were getting it all done and just how professional they were. And now being in here, listening to the music and seeing the cathedral for the first time in ages, it's a really positive experience. It's been lovely.
What does this moment represent for you?
I don't know, maybe the beginning of the end?
Amidst their numbers, inevitably, we meet those who've lost relatives to COVID. Stories of human suffering have long been embedded into the fabric of this great cathedral. So too stories of hope and human endeavour, like this one, to be recounted here, no doubt, in the years to come.